Welcome to Flint Friday. Today I'm going to talk about the advice that I give to a aspiring data scientist. And really there are two different extremes to this. There's the university graduate that's done a STEM course and graduated from that with a real good theoretical knowledge of machine learning and statistics. And then on the flip side, there's also somebody who's actually spent their career in a very quantitative role, getting good commercial experience, that sees data science as effectively an extension of their skill set. So I'm going to talk about the advice I'd give the graduate first, and that would be, firstly, the commercial experience that you get is paramount. And what I would do if I was walking into a new organization is I'd start with their financials and I'd break them down. I'd understand how that company made money and how it lost money, and it loses money primarily through costs. And so you can start thinking about the processes and the wages and those different cost factors that give you that opportunity to really apply machine learning to reduce those costs, or apply machine learning in maybe a marketing space or whatever it might be. But that organizational focus will give you the opportunities that exist at that company. I'd really encourage anybody in that to do the financial training online or whatever it might be, to actually facilitate being able to go through that company's financials to do that. Secondly, I think with real life problems come real life ramifications, and that's having spent some time in risk. I think I see what happens when you get things wrong, and so it's easy theoretically to go, okay, well, if we put this machine learning in, there's a better outcome. But what is the outcome from a bad decision? So is there a regulatory outcome? Is there a reputational outcome which is bad for the organization, as well as is there a financial outcome? So think about those real life ramifications of those data, those models that you're going to put in. And I guess thirdly, I'm sorry to break it to you, the data's not going to be clean. Generally speaking, I think people have a better have a thought that these big companies have really clean data, and maybe some of them do, but I guess a lot of them don't. And so don't be disappointed if you have to get your hands dirty to actually really clean the data before you can do some real machine learning on it and data science on it. So that's that side of the fence. I think if you've got commercial experience and over a period of time, then really what ends up happening is that you tend to get into a single tool that you like, or you get into a real niche industry or department that you really like. And so I guess I'd encourage those people to really expand your horizons, expand the tool set that you're using. For me, it was starting to use things like R and Python, starting to use Tableau, Power BI, those sorts of things, which were just different tool sets that I hadn't used before. So really encourage that, especially with industry as well. I think if you're in a financial role, to actually if you're in a financial role, then there's a lot of there's lots of that data solutions that you can do in a finance stage that are very different than if you would go to electricity company or a transportation company in terms of logistics and those sorts of things. So try and expand the industry. I guess the other thing that I've found is that machine learning is really quite easy to deploy in R and Python. People have written those libraries and those packages to be able to put those machine learning models into to fit those models really easily. And so get some training data, just practice. At the end of the day, practice, because it's easier than I think people think it is. And so knowing what the hyperparameters are, knowing how to reduce bias, are all things that you need to know and need to learn. But it's actually quite easy to fit and train a model. So that's three of the things for the commercial experience. And I guess the last thing I would say is there is so much online. A lot of it's free. There's lots free on YouTube. There's lots free through audit roles in across some of the MOOCs like Coursera. You can go and audit a course on Coursera, get all the knowledge. Okay, you don't get a piece of paper, but you want the knowledge, and that's a really good free option. And I think there's some paying options that are quite cheap. I know I've done a lot in DataCamp, and I've found that really useful at quite a low cost per annum. So they're the two sides. Most people are in between that, and so hopefully you found something of use from either the very young graduate side of things that needs to get that commercial experience and deal with real life problems, or you really got something out of that customer commercial experience that really needs to kind of expand their offering in terms of different tools that they've used. Lastly, I guess whoever you are, try not to hold yourself up to the all-encompassing data scientist that I see a lot of companies recruiting for. Just start doing some data science, and I think that's the first thing that I'd say to a lot of people is just start doing data science, and you'll start ticking some boxes that those recruiters want to see. And look, back yourself as well. You're not going to have every single thing that some of these ads have on it. So even though you maybe don't tick all of the boxes, apply for those roles, because I think what they're trying to do is get a lot of people that have some of those tool sets to apply, whilst the impact is that it can be a bit demoralizing. Put your hand up, apply for those roles. Above all, just start doing data science, and that's how you become a data scientist. So hopefully that's helped everybody, and there'll be another Flint Friday video soon.